welcome back to my channel called Susanna Reacts, where I learn all things Bharat with your help. And I just share my Slovak Central European point of view. In today's video, we are going to look into the lies about India. So I've recently also visited India, and this video is about a girl that lived in India for 8 years. So I'm very curious what she has to share, if there's anything that I can personally relate to from my own personal experience. But before we jump into today's video,
please like this video and click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification. Thank you so much for your support.
wow.
The week before traveling to India, I was completely scared, petrified. I was having nightmares, like music, and every festival my life was kind of monotone. The one who's my husband right now, who got being employment and everything, was in the street already, and they were born in the street. There are many children here in India. They born in the street, live in the street, and they die in the street. When he was 3, he started working. Children.
Wow.
3 years old child. He was working already. He was deprived and he fall, all the glasses they broke, and then he was scared by his boss, so he didn't know what to do. And he started running away and he ran away until one train station, and then he started living there because he was so scared of coming back home.
When he was like 5, 6?
5 years.
5-year-old. Wow.
And he lived in the street for 3 years.
Wow.
So it was very hard to live in the street because everything happened to children. They start learning how to pick food from the garbage, pick up food from the garbage, or to work, like singing songs to get some money, or begging, or polishing shoes as well. They do different kind of jobs, and it's hard because they are small children. But apart from that, they are starving. They don't have like a nice place to live, and then because of they are sleeping in the train station, anything can happen. They can come, they can feed you, they can make you, they can push you to take drugs, or they can rape you as well.
Oh, wow.
Which was the case of my husband. He went through all of this when he was 5 in the street, living in a train station. He told me that the first 6 months that he was living in the street, it was like a hell because he didn't understand what was happening and why all of these things were happening to him. But after those 6 months, he learned how to protect himself, and then he could be like a criminal also. He could throw stones, and if he had to kill someone, he never did, but he was ready to do it, to protect himself. So the life in the city is very, very hard. And that's why when he was 8, someone came from an orphanage, which is called Sneha Sadan, and then they took him to the orphanage. When he went to the orphanage, all his life changed. Because he was protected, he was taken care of, he was loved, he was not pushed to go and work. It was like a big family. In that orphanage, they had 400 children. So they have different houses around Bombay, and in each house there were about 20 children. But the thing is that they send you to school, and my husband, he was not good at studies. He could not process, and he was always being sent for doing like chores of the school, cleaning, washing, and all these kind of things. So then when he became 18, obviously he was not good at studies and in the school. So he was doing jobs like driving rickshaws or cleaning cars and all of that. And he got the opportunity to go and work as a man Friday, which means someone who can clean, drive, cook, whatever, in an artist's home. This artist was Justus Fernandez, which was a very famous artist of Bombay. He started working for him, and he was living in the same place as him. Because of that, he started knowing people from all around the world, because this artist was always welcoming people from all around the world, but especially from Barcelona. And then his boss gave him as a present a trip to Barcelona, and they went together.
Oh, wow.
And it was because of this trip that he started this cafe. When he went to Barcelona, the first thing that he realized that there were no families living in the street. And he was saying, how can this be possible? There are 2 different cities. Here in India, he was saying it's a place that it is known by this spirituality, but they are so disconnected from the reality because there are so many people living in the streets and they're not helping to each other. They are not fighting for having like a place where everybody can have a home. But then in Barcelona, there were no children in the street. There were no families in the street. Maybe there would be some beggars, but like single people. But there were not a single children in the street. He said, and then this made him believed that he wanted to do something to change the society here in Bombay. And then is when he came with the idea of writing a book about his life. And by selling the book with the proceeds, he started this cafe. This is our main message. We want everybody to feel welcome at the cafe because we don't want to make any difference, either if they are from different religions, from different or sexual orientations, or from different castes. Everyone is welcome.
So in this cafe, you like your staff, that's they all from the streets? Or
They are basically from the same orphanage that Amin Griwa, Sneha Sadan, most
Yeah.
of them. And then there are some that they are coming from slums.
Amin knows me, the founder of this cafe, since I was child, 4 years. So he has seen me grown up, like how I grown up. After leaving orphanage, I met him, and then he said, "Khushbu, you have a lovely design, you have a lovely creation and all. Why are you working for others?" I said, "What I can do? I don't have options. I have no my own shops and all. So how I can work for myself?" So he said, "Okay." So that time the cafe was not exist, but he showed me one dream that this is what I'm going to do in the future. If you're ready to welcome. And then afterwards, we started selling books in traffic signal, wherever we get the chance and all. And first time I saw, Amin was begging for us because his word, when it comes out, it is very powerful. Like usually he don't say for say, because people sometimes they come and they just say, okay, I'm going to do for you this and that. And in a minute they forget. But he has begged for us to make my dream reality, make other people, other children dream reality, what they want to become. Right now, I can talk in front of you. If you have seen me 5 years or 6 years back, I was a person I cannot talk in front of anyone.
Wow.
Very shy. If he introduced with anybody, I used to cry. So now what Cafe has given me, confidence, identity, and be who you are, not what they want me to make.
what's the 3 best things for you about living in India?
Family, that is the first one. Then profession. I have grew up a lot as a teacher, and there was something that I could never imagine. And then this our cafe, because it is helping me to be always humble and touch the ground and make me remember that I am so lucky to be to have grown where I have grown and to be born where I was in Europe, that we've had all the facilities, and then here it's like every day slapping my face and saying, be proud and be grateful to what you have.
I believe this is it. What a beautiful story. I personally obviously observed slums as well. But wow, it was just really touching for me. I don't know how you guys felt. I did not realize that people grow up in the streets like kids, and that you're, as a kid, so scared that you get beaten up. I've heard about violence in India. I would love to know your take on this, because, and that one thing that I had observed, and I believe that I think India is the kind of like the cradle of spirituality. However, my disappointment, if you like, with India is that I didn't see much spirituality out there. Like I was surprised by that, to be honest. Because if you are spiritually evolved, there are certain things that just don't happen. And that was a bit saddening and disappointing, to be honest. And that, and it's sad that a country with such a rich spiritual history does not really translate that, in my view, from the little I've seen. Might be wrong, but I'm just going based off of my experience. Does not really translate that well in their day-to-day. Especially now hearing her about the kids in the streets, and I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I guess I don't really know about kids in the streets in Slovakia. I think that would be a very strange phenomenon. Maybe more usual for the bigger cities than smaller, and maybe that's just more of an American thing. But it's kind of like when I hear about the strictness of Indian parents, etc. And there is nothing wrong with being strict, But the question is if that is what actually, like, if you can do it in a loving way. Like, if you're gonna get beaten so badly, and I've seen like a random video where someone like poured water on a bed of a little girl, made her parents believe that the kid peed herself, and then she was beaten up so badly. And I don't understand in my head, and I'm like, crazy things. I'm not just saying that's India, right? Like, I'm just saying, like, the things like that happen. And there was this man, he kept on beating the kid, a poor girl, like 5-6-year-old. For what? Peeing in her bed? Like, if she indeed did, like, maybe there is, and that also, I guess, maybe comes to education. Like, maybe someone might have an issues with the bladder, Like, have you thought about that? And then what surprised me the most, that the woman was standing there watching her girl getting beaten up. I think I would start beating up the guy. Let me tell you that much. That would anger me so much. So, but again, I'm sure instances like that do happen, everywhere, which is sad. But coming from a country that has such a significant spiritual history, Vedas, Upanishads, everything, rishis, every, type of development, that it doesn't translate in actual understanding of, and this is not just me like trying to generalize, but like, let's say I'm just thinking about a particular example of a girl like being loving. Like, where is the love? Tell me, you guys tell me, where is the love? Because if you love yourself first, you could never do that to another person, right? Like, circumstances happen, life is tough. But if as a society we're kind and loving to each other, and I know there is a lot of diversity, different religions and all that kind of stuff, so I'm not like, saying that there are no cultural differences between things, but that was for me a bit of a kind of a disappointment, and she called it out. So I feel like I put that one right. She's been living there for 8 years. So by then I don't really know what they said about lies, because it didn't feel like it was about lies. It was more about like her experience, which is really beautiful, actually, like helping the unfortunate that cannot be helped. And the story of her saying like how she grew in confidence, etc. You see, like, I wouldn't even think, at least with my background, let's say my education, my life experience, that's even a thing for people. But I guess when you grow up without parents, you live on the street, that gives you something, right? And that's beautiful. And I think that's what we should aspire as people, to be loving, kind, first and foremost to ourselves. Because if we are, then there is no chance in hell you can be horrible and bad. I always stand by the fact that hurt people. So this is why it's so important to first heal yourself inside. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video with me. If you did enjoy, please give a thumbs up, share, like, and subscribe to this channel. And I will see you next one. Until then, please do take care. I'm sending lots of love. Bye-bye.